Alright, so right now I'm going to be working on my Ruger 1022 Target Lite. I've been having problems where it does not want to feed standard velocity ammo. I bought this gun about a month and a half ago, maybe not quite that long ago. And when I got it, I shot it a little bit, maybe a box or two of ammo, and I took it over to a local gun store, and I picked up this Tactical Solutions X-Ring muzzle brake, and this was a backroom special charging handle. Used, not sure what it was off of, but I just wanted something a little bigger. The rifle came with just this factory standard style charging handle, and with how wide the stock is right there, it took up a good bit of it, and I've got big fingers. I just wanted something a little bit bigger. I bought this gun because I wanted to, I've been shooting USPSA on and off for about a year now, trying to get into the competitive shooting game. And I shot Steel Challenge a little bit last year. I ran a Remington 572 pump action, but I wanted to try to run it this year and see what I could do there. So I bought this Ruger 1022 Target Lite, and I put the Vortex Viper on it. I will go into more details about that some other time. But one of the things I wanted was the bigger charging handle. And I shot my first match. We shot a Outlaw style rimfire challenge with it here about a week and a half ago. And I had 3 or 4 different kinds of ammo in the closet, but I'd been playing with the rifle and trying a bunch of different things, and that's what I had left. And I grabbed a brick of standard velocity instead of high velocity, and the gun jammed all day and basically ended up being a nightmare. So I started asking if there was a problem with changing springs and whatnot, and I hadn't thought about the fact that when I put this charging handle on, for one, my factory spring and guide rod are still on the other charging handle, so I have no idea what is on the other charging handle. So we're going to try to put this factory spring back in it. But the other thing I noticed is I'd never moved the bolt back slowly. Grab the bolt, and it seems like it comes back just fine, no interference. But when I started looking at it, if you notice, if you come back very slow with the bolt, right there. Right there. You see there? Well, that's what the bolt handle, it's got a little bit of play in it, it's all the way up right now. But if the bolt handle is down, it actually does hit the stock right there. You'll notice the bolt handle push up. And I'm thinking that during recoil, it's probably right there hitting the stock, and it's probably slowing the bolt down just enough that it's stopping right there. So that's the problem I was having. It was stopping without ejecting the empty case, but it was coming back just far enough to pick up a loaded case. I mean, it would jam on the empty case still in the ejection port. So I want to leave this charging handle on there. I think I'm going to put the factory spring back in it to start with. And I'm going to go ahead and just sand this down right here a little bit more so the charging handle clears. And then we will go from there. So I've got the rifle out of the stock now. And if it will focus, there we go. If you notice, there's a difference in coloration there, and you can see where that bolt handle has been rubbing on the stock right there. So we're just going to go ahead and file that down real quick. Alright, so we just went ahead and sanded out that entire, had that little bit of a ridge right there. So we made it the same height all the way across the bottom of the stock right there below the charging handle. So the charging handle can now come all the way back with no interference with the stock. So next, I'm going to attempt to put the factory recoil spring back in it. Alright, so I went ahead and took apart both of the charging handles. The Ruger one had this little tiny spacer right behind the charging handle and in front of the spring here. This is the Ruger assembly. I've got the other assembly over here. Just the spring, the guide rod. This is like a stainless guide rod, where I think the Ruger's is a blued one, and then the other charging handle. But what I noticed with this guide rod is, I don't know if it'll show up on camera, but as I turn it, it is bent about an inch from the back. And this is the guide rod I had in the gun at the last competition where I was having feeding issues. So we're going to chuck that one. We're going to use the Ruger guide rod right here, which is nice and straight. I'm going to get some very fine grit sandpaper and just polish it up just a little bit before I put it back in the gun, because I can feel some tool marks on it here and there. And then I'm going to install it with the factory Ruger spring and the spacer, and then we will give it a try and see how it does. Alright, so we got it all put back together with the Ruger guide rod, Ruger spring, Ruger spacer, and the aftermarket charging handle. And we filed the stock down so it's not bumping the charging handle anymore. And it is definitely smoother. Even after filing the stock down before, it had a little bit of a, where it starts to cock the hammer right here. It was hanging up quite a bit, but it's a lot smoother now. I polished the Ruger guide rod before we put it all back together, and I think it will work with the standard velocity ammo reliably now, but I guess the only thing to do is take it to the range and find out. Alright, so we're on the way to the range right now. One other thing I did do to the gun, I had to run into town with my wife, pick up some groceries and stuff, and I swung by Hawk Tech Arms. If you haven't checked them out, if you're in the Boise area, check them out for sure. He's definitely a big advantage for the shooting community around here. But anyway, I stopped by, and he had the rubber bolt stop pins, the I guess they're shock buffers or whatever. I picked one of those up, supposed to quiet the gun down. I did just playing with it after putting it in. I did notice it's quite a bit quieter. But anyway, we're on the way to the range now. We're gonna attempt to run a few boxes of ammo through it and see if it will run a standard and high velocity still pretty well. So as soon as we get up to the range up here, I'll turn the camera back on. Alright, so here at the range, we've got the rifle, we've got, if I can get my phone to, there we go. We've got an assortment of different kinds of ammo here. Up first, we're going to shoot the American Eagle standard velocity. These are the ones I was shooting at the competition the other day that were jamming up on me. We're going to run a box of 2 of those through here, and probably not a box, just a couple mags, and see if they feed. So, here goes. Nope, it's still jamming. Well, it still didn't want to feed the standard velocity ammo. I ran some high velocity through it, and it ran that just fine, but it still didn't want to run the standard velocity whatsoever. The Federal was the worst out of the couple brands. I did try a couple other brands and still wouldn't feed, but the Federal was the worst. I'm gonna try, when I put the spring back in, I put that little spacer that Ruger had, and I'm gonna try to take that back out. It will lighten the spring up just a little bit. I don't know if it'll be enough to help or not, but I'll try that probably tomorrow or sometime this weekend. If that doesn't work, I'll try the other spring. Wonder if maybe I got them mixed up when I'm taking it apart. I'm about 99% sure I did put the factory Ruger spring back in it, but I'll check. If it doesn't work, I'll try the other one. But in the meantime, that's going to be all the video for today. I will record some more whenever I go back to working on this project. In the meantime, I'll probably just continue to shoot high velocity, and if I go do any more competitions with it, I think Parma, Idaho is starting up Steel Challenge this week or next, and I'm kind of hoping to start running some Steel Challenge up there before I head back out of the area for work. So we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. I don't know if I was educational or not, but I hope I was. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time.